Hi, I'm Stacy Beck, and I'd like to welcome you to this Fiesta Day special program. Every parade or event typically recognizes some dignitary, a celebrity, or residents that have a long standing in the community, people that have made an impact. And we are happy to have a couple with us today that perfectly fit those qualifications. Let me introduce you to our honorary Grand Marshals for Fiesta Days 2024, Dave and Susan Oyler. Welcome tonight. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Well, the list when we start choosing our Grand Marshals, some years is really long. But you know, the Oylers are up there in my mind of so many things that you guys have accomplished. And while we're meeting today, I want to get to that, but I want to start back when you guys were young. Like, where did you both grow up? Where are you from? How did you meet? Susan, let's start with you.
I'm from Spanish Fork, and third or fourth generation. My family's all from Spanish Fork, so I have lots of fond memories of the Fiesta Days. And I never dreamt that this would end up being as the Grand Marshals, but we've loved this city and we've been very involved. And we don't take a lot of the credit to ourselves. We have lots of wonderful people that we have met along the way that have influenced our lives. And it's pretty emotional when you look back on 41 years and see the people that have made the city what the city is. So any one of them could have been Grand Marshals, and we're thankful for this opportunity.
Oh.
I am grateful that my family has been dedicated to Spanish Fork. My dad was, very well known. And
Who was your dad?
Richard Banks.
Okay.
And he was usually the first in line for everything. He didn't want to miss anything. And he has 7 children. My siblings are all still here. So the 24th is a big deal in our family. We like to come and celebrate and all get together, and our children, our grandchildren, especially our grandchildren now, are just following right along with the tradition.
Wow. So you grew up here. Dave?
I grew up in Idaho mostly. I was born in Tremonton.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved over to Nampa for a few years, then over to Sugar City, and then I went to high school in Preston.
Oh, really?
So after high school, went on a mission and
Okay.
came back, and by then my parents had moved to Spanish Fork, and I came home from BYU to visit my parents, and went to church and found Susan at church.
And was it love at first sight?
And it was.
Was it really?
It was for me. I don't think so for him.
So you started dating right off?
We did. Yeah, we did.
And married soon thereafter?
Married soon thereafter.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
And Dave, at this point, had you chosen the career path that you would end up on?
Kind of. We started with the city in 1976 and started as a administrative assistant part-time.
Okay.
And at the same time, I enrolled at BYU in the MPA program, Master of Public Administration. Went through the program. The last semester, the city hired me full-time and as a city recorder, and I've been here ever since.
So you obviously had several different roles in the city. Tell us what those were.
Again, we started as administrative assistant,
Okay.
part-time. Worked under Mayor Moran at that time. There was Mayor Moran and Ken Penniger, Garth Hansen, Jack Laveson, Vern Tanner, and
Hamilton, Blair.
Blair Hamilton were the
that was the mayor and council at the
mayor and
time.
council at that time. And then I went. Title was city recorder. Then they changed the title to an administrator of city services. Then they changed the title to city administrator, and then they changed the title to city manager.
So did you feel like your title was just changing, but you were just kind of evolving as you were working?
As the city was growing, I was also growing.
So how many residents were in Spanish Fork when you started working for the city?
In '76, there was probably 8,000 to 10,000 residents in the city.
So people complaining of traffic and growth have probably always been complaining about traffic and growth to some varying degree, right?
Well, growth is always going to be an issue because when you go from 10,000 to 15,000, people complain of the increased traffic and the increased growth.
Right.
So there was always those types of issues that we've dealt with through the years.
Okay, I want to ask you, what are some of, from both of you, what are some of your fondest memories of you being the city manager of Spanish Fork? Do any memories just stick out that you look back and you think, what a blessing that was in my life?
You know, the fondest memories are the people that you meet and the people that you work with. And so and there's hundreds and hundreds of people that we've worked with through the years, and thousands of volunteers through the years that we've worked with. So that's probably the fondest memories, is just working with the great people that we had to work with, from elected officials to city employees to volunteers and the citizens. I mean, you have to remember, you work for the citizens.
Yeah.
So
and we have a great
that's the fondest memories.
Okay.
Some of the funnest projects were relocating the golf course.
Okay, tell us about that. Where was the golf course before it was at the location it is now?
I think many people don't know where the golf course was before it was relocated. It was down where Longview Fiber is right now. And Longview Fiber's changed its name
So
since it
east
came.
of the airport, right?
East of the airport was the golf course.
I'll admit, Dave, that I did not know that until I read the article in the magazine.
And the golf course was there. Yeah. And then we owned the city owned property up at the mouth of the canyon. And we decided it would be best to turn the old golf course into industrial land and relocate the new golf course up to somewhere that was maybe more aesthetically pleasing and fit for a nice golf course. So that happened in I think it was late 70s, early 80s.
And did the community love that idea right off the bat?
There was some opposition and some supporting.
Okay. Okay.
So that was a fun project. SFCN was a fun project when we created the broadband system for the city.
Tell us about that, because that is an amazing story. Like, how did you think that we needed that in the early 2000s?
Originally, we were looking at the concept of tying all our utilities together on internet, on fiber optic, so that we could read meters, monitor the transformers, the wells, and all that.
Okay.
And the concept just grew after we started looking at it to, well, we might as well get in the full business of providing fiber optics to the community. So in 1999, I think we started, and then the next year we bonded for the project. We hired John Bolcutt, who I consider as the father of SFCN.
Okay.
And John was the one that did all the technical work to put SFCN together. And the original concept is we'll go cable or coax cable to a node or to a neighborhood, and then from the neighborhood, we'll go fiber to the node, and then from the node to the house we'll do coax cable. Because we couldn't afford to go fiber all the way. And then after 15 years, after the bond was paid for, the concept was take the money now and do fiber to the home and finish the whole project without going into debt again.
Right.
So that was the concept, and I think in 2015 or 16 is when it was completed. So that was a fun project.
Big project. I want to go over a couple of things. It says you've had a big hand, obviously, in the economic development of our city, bringing in Costco and beginning the Canyon Creek development area, and the rebuilding of the rodeo arena, and the sports park, volunteers for that. Susan, do you remember all of these, and were you at a lot of these things with him? Give us a little glimpse of how it was for you when he was out doing all of these things.
Well, I can remember with Costco, he worked and worked and worked, and they came up with deals and deals and deals. Some worked, some didn't, Anyway, Costco finally announced that they were coming. And Dave must have been one of the first ones to know, because we were over at a high school tournament, based softball, whatever. State tournament over in Provo.
Oh, yeah.
And Dave found out, and so he called councilman and councilman and councilman, and they all kind of got in a little huddle. And then he announced that Costco was coming over at the ball game.
Oh, you did?
And everybody
Just to the council.
Yeah, to the council.
Okay.
Just to the council.
Not to the
microphone.
Not to the audience.
Just to the council.
Okay.
Because they had all worked so closely together, and they were so excited. They threw their arms in the air, started clapping, and I think everybody kind of tied it into the ball game. But it was really because Costco was coming, and they had worked so hard to get Costco to come. So that's probably the main one that I kind of really remember.
So
it was a fun time.
As he's out doing a lot of these big things for our city, you were home with how many kids?
Well, we have 5 boys and 2 girls, and they were all pretty active and kept us busy. And he always was the one that was better with them at homework, so I'd always say, well, wait till your dad gets home, because I can't do math and some of these other things. And we all just worked together and did what we could do, and we had so much fun. And they were very involved with his job. Sometimes they'd go down to the rodeo arena and help. 24th of July was a big deal for all of our whole family. And we'd go down and meet some of the cowboys, and they'd get letters back from some of the cowboys, and they got all their hats signed, and they just had a really fun time with Fiesta Days. It was a fun time for our family.
That's awesome. I love how involved you were with him and his work and engaging the kids and teaching them how to be a volunteer.
And even when it was time to leave the kids home, he never left me home. He took me everywhere. And we had a lot of fun. It was a really good job. We got to meet not only people from the city, but people from the state, conferences, and some of our best friends.
That's so great. I'm glad it was such a good experience. And Dave, obviously you are a man who really thinks to the future. Can you think of anything else, like the golf course that was very forward-thinking and fiber to the home? Are there any other things that were missing?
Well, I had the opportunity to work with some great people. Jack Swenson is what I consider the father of our recreation program.
I agree.
And Jack put together, probably the best recreation program in the state.
Right.
So I had the opportunity to work with Jack, and with that, we had the golf course, the swimming pool. I remember walking down the river before the trail was built with Susan, and I said, there happened to be an owl up in the tree, and I said, that owl probably is going to have to find a new home because of all the people that are going to be walking down this trail. And in council meeting, I mentioned to the council, I said, one of the most popular facilities that you're going to have is going to be the River Trail.
Oh my God.
And Chris Thompson was so involved in being able to get all the properties necessary in order to get the trail in. But I think the River Trail is a very popular amenity that we have today.
I agree. It's a treasure.
The rodeo, I was there when the city and the riding club joined forces to put the rodeo together. And Steve Money was Mr. Rodeo. He was, again, the father of our Spanish Fork Fiesta Days Rodeo. And with Steve and the rodeo committee and Diamond Fork Riding Club, I think we were able to develop a rodeo, and through the years have now a very popular rodeo.
Very popular, very famous, world famous, right?
Many cowboys attend our rodeo, and again, it's because you had great volunteers with the riding club. You had a great committees, and you had Stephen that had the contacts with the cowboys and the stock contractors that were able to put together a nice rodeo. Then you had great citizens that volunteered some money to build a new facility. The Ford family, I think, were willing to provide resources to help build the new facility. Before that, I remember years ago, me and Paul Johnson I had a pilot's license, so we flew up to Cody, Wyoming to look at their rodeo arena, and went to Preston, Idaho, and looked at their arena. And before the arena we have now, we got ideas together, and then we built the arena that was there before we have the new arena.
Right.
So just fun activities and great people to work with.
I love that. So did you ever actually watch the rodeo? And Susan, did you go to the rodeo?
I didn't miss a one with my kids.
But you never were with him at the rodeo, right?
Not really. And he would usually walk up and kind of say, hi, everybody, and sit by us for 10 minutes and
off he'd
hi,
go.
goodbye.
So you enjoyed the rodeo?
Well, yeah.
As much as you can with 7 young kids on bleacher seats.
But the best part of the rodeo to me is the fresh air and the flag flying and
just being out there.
Sometimes I don't even watch the rodeo, especially the bull riding. I don't care to watch that. But the best part was just being there and hamburgers and just being with the people.
All the fun. And Dave, you were probably very heavily involved every year you were city manager.
Again, I was on the rodeo committee with, I think we usually had the mayor, a councilman, and Steve, and other individuals from the riding club, and so the riding club had their committee, and we had the rodeo committee, and they had different assignments, and it was fun. It was good activity.
You guys, I just feel like you have been such a legacy in Spanish Fork. As we wrap up our time, what is Fiesta Days to you? If you could just come into one memory or a couple words, what is Fiesta Days to you? Fiesta Days to me is just the opportunity to get together as a family and enjoy the celebration and the activities as a family. As a family.
And as your kids come and your grandkids now, as they grow older, the celebration is really evolved, and each year things are added to it, and it just becomes an opportunity to sit in the park and visit with other people and have your family there, and that's what it means to me, is a family activity.
Love that. Susan?
I kind of have to agree. One tradition I started was bringing all the grandkids, not the grandkids, but the granddaughters together, and we go to the sidewalk sales. And sometimes there's not a lot to see or a lot to do or a lot to buy, but they just meet me down in front of Stone Drug, and we walk through the sidewalk sales every single year, 13 granddaughters. And then we go over and we either get pizza or anyway, we just have a lot of fun. So that's kind of the tradition. And even now they're asking, what day does it start? Let us all know. And I think with our 7 children, they all live in Spanish Fork. We've been very blessed.
I cannot even believe that.
Yeah, we're very
crazy.
Blessed. But also, even though we get together a lot, Fiesta Day still stands out. It's just special.
Well, I just want to thank you both personally. From the bottom of my heart, I think you two are the heart of Spanish Fork. You've been such examples to so many of us of how to step up and serve, how to lift others, how to think into the future, not just for now, what's going to make us happy now, what's going to make our kids happy in 20, 30, 50 years. So thank you for your leadership. I don't think we could have chosen anyone better for our Grand Marshals for 2024. I just adore you both and thank you both for all that you've given to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yes, you are so welcome.
Thank you.
And we hope you have the best seats at every event this summer.
Thank you.